All right, I'm back. Oh, we're on. Hi, everyone. My name is Georgette Truan. I work for the law office of Vincent Davis and with Darren Guai from the state of Maine. Hey, and our special guest today is Wendy Thomas. Hi, Wendy. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, honey. So, what?
How's everybody?
Where are you? Where are you? Where are you coming from here? What state are you in?
I'm in Ohio.
Ohio, and you're the mother.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about yourself.
About myself, I am a retired chef. I was working for a $1 billion corporation out in Levis Commons. I was the head chef out there. Um, I got sick and I ended up having to quit. During this time, I was told I used to weigh like 500 pounds. And I was told that I couldn't have no children because I was raped and molested a lot when I was younger as a child. And plus with my weight, so I lost all the weight, and then I had my two daughters. I have a 17-year-old right now, and I have a 14-year-old right now. My 14-year-old is autistic. She's legally blind. She has hydrocephalus. She's water on her brain, but the pressure's not on the brain, it's on the optic nerve.
Oh,
But she's not mentally retarded. She's like high functioning, you know what I mean? She come out, she was they were really surprised that she made it. She I had instructions with my mom that if she didn't come home with me, that my mom had to take, pull apart the nursery in the house. But she did. She lived. She lived. I had to have my uterus sewed shut, and I had to be on a drip, and I was on bed rest because the longer my daughter stayed in me, the more chances of her was to survive. So I kept her in almost 11 months before they took her. And I had 17 doctors over the top of me, and they thought she was going to be born like all disfigured and everything. And she was beautiful. The doctors were like, wow. And she made it. She had a little bit of problem in the NICU. She was real susceptible to SIDS because of the hydrocephalus. So she had to have sleep monitors and everything on her, and she couldn't eat the first week she was born, and I couldn't breastfeed or anything the first week. So it was touch and go with her when she was um, out the first week, but then the second week she started to get stronger and everything and pulled through, and I was able to breastfeed and everything, and she made it, and she's 14 now, and she's in junior high, and that's all I really can tell you. My mother has locked my children up. I have not seen my 17-year-old in 3 years, and I haven't seen Abby since May 16th. My mom's got everything locked up over there, and Children's Services won't help me. I have charges right now on me through the county that my children reside in for interfering with custody, and it was the sheriff's department that did it. And I never lost custody of my children. I have open guardianship. I don't have limited guardianship. And my mother did that behind my back. She tried to have a court date behind my back and got an attorney and had a home visit with Children's Services when I still had custody without my knowledge. And they never had no evidence. I've never had a Children's Services charge on me. I was never, I mean, I would have like friends that would get mad, and you know how they call on you, but Children's Services would always come in, and there was never nothing, you know, no findings or anything. And I went into the hospital. I had to have knee replacement surgery, and they put a nickel knee in me, And when they did that, I got sepsis, and I spent 3 years in and out of the hospital. I almost died. I was in a coma for 72 hours, and because I was so poisoned that they had to put me in a medicated coma to be able to throw the amount of medication that I needed in me. And they had to fly it in. I was getting medication in me that they give like people who have cancer or HIV that have infections because my body was so septic. During that time, my mom wouldn't bring my children to me. She had all the money to all of us. I mean, she had my Social Security, my daughter's Social Security, and then what I was getting from, um, welfare food stamps and stuff for them. And she just like slowly, like, come consumed with all this money, I guess you could say. And it's to the point now where the money is so important that she has literally gaslighted my whole family. My fiance and I, we had to move out of my hometown because I was getting death threats. My mother is abusing my children. And see, I was emancipated from my mom and dad legally when I was 16 years old because of the abuse with my mother. My older sister from my stepdad's,
Can you?
um,
Okay, you
you
stop there.
need to. Yeah, yeah. Am I going a little off? I'm nervous. I don't know what you want to know and what you
No,
don't
I
want to
just
know.
wanted when you said your mother had okay, she has your kids, right? Is that what you're saying? And
Correct. She signed a piece of paper.
uh
My mother worked in an office and she ran the office. She took my signature and copy and pasted it onto a court document for guardianship that I didn't even know the document existed until the day of court.
wow,
I never received no paperwork. They tried to do this behind my back, and I found out from a family member. I had to threaten my mom's lawyer to be able to get the court date and get everything situated, to be able to show up. Then I paid an attorney $1,500 to represent me. Well, he golfs with the judge.
wow,
So when I went in that morning, he stepped back, took my $1,500, and the judge went ahead with the case that day with no evidence, no prior record, nothing. I have a squeaky clean record. I made a three-figure salary before I lost my knee.
wow.
And I'm going to, Children's Services, the recommendation all went by how I was as a child. And I was emancipated at 16. I was out of the house. There was no evidence of any kind of neglect, and I tried to argue with the judge. If I was neglecting these children, why did my mother wait until I come home? My mother had my children for 3 years.
What was the allegation against you? Wendy,
Neglect.
what type of neglect?
Neglect.
They always say neglect, but what kind of neglect? What did you neglect?
They It didn't say.
It didn't
Just
say.
neglect. I have found out that our court system, our juvenile court system out here has done this to 125 poverty-stricken and disabled parents.
Oh yeah, that I believe.
I have found out that legal aid is in on this. That's
Oh
why
yeah.
they will not take custody cases.
Hmm.
Legal aid is in on it.
Yes, ma'am. I've been saying that for years. Legal aid is part of it, and a lot of people call legal aid foundation to get help for low income families, and they
Yep.
can't seek that kind of help because I, for one,
Well, you get
yeah. Go ahead.
well, this is all for funding too.
Hmm.
You guys do know that. This is for funding. The longer they keep the children in the other home, the more funding they get. You even if you let them in your house and you sign voluntarily paperwork and releases,
Mhm.
they get bonuses for coming in your house and getting that signature on the first try.
Absolutely. They actually get big bonuses because a lot of families don't want to sign the safety plan. So once they convince a family or a member of the family to sign the safety plan, they get a big bonus check aside
Hmm.
from their annual pay, of course, you know. So that is very, very,
And
very true.
yep, yep. And if they take my children out of my mom's home, they lose funding. They know that my mom's abusing these children, especially my disabled child. My disabled child sits at a kitchen table with an iPad while my mom takes the other grandchildren. They're all girls. There's three more of them, my daughter and then my sister's two, um, of my mom's blood children. She'll take them to the zoo, take them shopping, take them to the movies. Why my disabled daughter sits in a house by herself with a tablet. My disabled daughter gets bathed twice a week. My disabled daughter is the stinky kid in a private school for disabled children and gets bullied because she stinks. She has called children's services herself and begged them to help her, and they will not help her.
You mean to tell me your daughter called CPS to help her and they will not help her?
Correct.
And how old is she again?
14. They're trying to make it out like she's mentally retarded because she's autistic,
Wait,
and
what
she's
state?
not.
Okay, what state is your case in again?
Ohio.
Ohio. I have been researching a lot in all states regarding CPS defense attorneys.
I can sit down and talk to you and tell you a lot about Fulton County. I've been doing this for 7 years.
I believe you.
7 years. Now I'm literally I have charges on me through the Fulton County Sheriff's Department because Children's Services got mad because when they come back to harass me, I got Columbus on the phone.
Hmm.
Columbus told them that they were being investigated because I filed a grievance and they had to leave. 45 minutes later, I've got 10 cop cars surrounding my home and they're wanting me to go to jail. I'm a disabled cripple woman.
Hmm.
Can you hear
Um,
me? I lost my bud.
no, no, no. I understand, and I'm so sorry you're going through this. But I did
The
find.
only thing the only thing that kept me from going to jail that day was the fact that I have an open wound. My skin graft opened up on my leg and I carry MRSA. So they couldn't put me in jail or I would have went to jail that day. And they got me for interfering with custody. But what that sheriff's department doesn't understand is I never lost custody of my children. In the state of Ohio, guardianship and custody is two different things.
I believe in this in any state actually, whether anywhere in the United States, CPS court supersedes any other court. I mean, family court. It supersedes family court. So even if you had custody in family court, CPS court can easily take the custody away from you. That's everywhere in the United States.
No, they didn't take custody away.
So
I still have custody.
you still have your custody, but did they give you
Correct.
like, visitation time? Did they give you some time with the children?
Correct. All
Is the
open visitation every other weekend, holidays,
Okay, hold on.
summertime.
Okay, hold on. Let me finish, okay? Is your mom complying with the court order?
No.
Then she's in contempt of court. So why didn't you
Correct.
take her to court already?
Because I'm not going to go back in front of that judge without an attorney, and I only get $800 a month, and I cannot afford an attorney. That is what's keeping me from getting my kids back. The last time I went in there with a court appointed attorney, I almost went to jail. He is just as corrupt as the rest of them.
They're all corrupt. I understand that. So why don't you can you represent yourself in the state of Ohio? Can you go pro per?
I will not go in that court without an attorney again. No, I won't. All he does is yell and scream, and say awful, horrible things to me. He told me that if I couldn't raise my kids on $200 a month, I didn't deserve kids. It was horrible in there that day. No, I will not go back in there, and I'm not even going to get a local lawyer. I'm going to get one a state over that can come into our state because all of them are in on it. Lucas County, or I mean the county over that way. I mean all of it. They're all in on it. There's sex trafficking going on in Toledo, Ohio. I mean, it's children's services get so much to adopt children out of poverty stricken homes. In Arizona, they are taking these kids off the street, and the ones that they can't get adopted, they're given to the cartel. I've got proof of all this.
Yeah, I am very much aware of that, and it's sad. It's very, very sad. But for an attorney to tell you something like that, that's just, I'm not surprised because they say worse things than that. Um,
No, the attorney didn't tell me that. The judge said that to me.
what?
Yeah, the judge said that to me.
The judge told you that in court?
Yeah, and the attorney that took the case told me that this case should have never happened, that this case was done for money. Right to my face.
So the
Right
attorney
to my
told you
face.
that. Why didn't you just stay with that attorney? I'm a little confused.
Because I had him I was going to use him for this charge that I have right now. And it's retaliation on children's services part and with the sheriff's department's part, and I need it thrown out of court. And he walked in there and threw his bag down on the table and looked at me and says, I'm not doing nothing for retaliation, and you're going to take this charge. No, I'm not.
What is, I mean, I don't even know if I'm allowed to ask you to say out loud. No, I can't. You can't tell me who's the judge or the name of the judge in Ohio
Get a
because
hold of me after the show.
I can.
I'll
I
tell
would
you.
like to know if you can, please, because it seems like together we break production. This woman I love so much. She's a prayer warrior right there. She
I
said,
will jump. I'm going to tell you something. I'm not only going to do this for myself, I'm going to do this for other families. This is going to stop. And
right,
I am not until every breath in my body is gone. I am not going to stop until I have my children.
and
We need laws to help us get this done. We need an attorney that'll help and show us how to raise money to keep him paid or to have somebody do it pro bono to help us out so these things don't happen.
the
We
problem.
need
Let me
go ahead.
finish and I get it because when I was in your shoes with family court, I wanted pro bono so bad, and I would search pro bono, right?
That's what
But
I do.
the real truth about this whole pro bono crap is that attorneys need to make money for a living, right? They get paid for services. The court appointed attorneys, however, they don't have to work. They don't have to spend time on your case. They're gonna get paid whether they work on your case or not. So therefore, they have this. The best thing to do is work for the government because you can get paid. You literally have job security no matter what. You have job security. Now,
Right,
attorneys that are independent, they don't have that type of security. If they
right,
don't get paid, then they don't have money to support themselves and their families. So a lot of people think attorneys are rich. You know who's the type of attorneys that are rich? Court appointed attorney and corporate attorneys. Corporate
right,
attorneys are very rich, yes. My friend is one. We went to school together. So he's very well established. Now, court appointed attorney, they're very well established as well. So that's why it's very hard to just look for pro bono because pro bonos are not going to exist when it comes to state cases. It's not going to exist. I have spoken to over 100 attorneys this month, And none of them in other states are willing to take a CPS case. Every
Nope.
time I speak to them, I tell them where I'm calling from, the law office of Vincent Davis in Southern California, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, no, we're not going to do CPS cases. We refuse. They're afraid of the judges. One of the paralegals in one of the states told me they're scared of the judges.
There is a attorney, and I can't find him, and I found him one time. He is in the Ohio area over here where I'm at. He's not afraid.
Okay, then why didn't you get them?
I need $6,000. This is a $6,000 case.
No, it's actually $6,000 retainer. This is not a six
Correct.
thousand dollar case. So the retainer
Correct.
is not about the whole case. So,
Correct.
um, have you tried to? I've seen people do GoFundMe, and some people are successful, some people are not. Some people
No,
will.
I tried. Yeah, I
Mhm.
tried that. I tried. Oh, sorry, I had to readjust myself.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. There's a phone number. Actually, there's a place. It's called Oasis Funding. Oasis. I used to go for Momentum. Momentum doesn't cover all states. So I started researching and I came up with Oasis Funding and I started talking to them at length. Call Oasis Funding. They fund all over the states. All you need is an attorney that is willing to like give you an agreement, that's willing to take your case, and they can fund your case. They fund like 2,000 or 3,000 at a time, and then the closer you get to the case, basically they can fund up to $100,000. I had a conversation with them, and they explained it to me. So you might want to call Oasis Funding, okay? And they can
Is
fund
there?
you.
Okay.
And
I was
six
going to ask you
will
if
be
there was a
welcome.
way that you could send it to me,
Send it where, honey?
to my email or.
Um, I can just put it here on the link. I guess I can. Darren, you want to talk? You want to ask her questions while I'm doing that, or Darren?
Yes, there. I was muted.
Oh,
Um, yeah. So why? So your mother forged documents to get your child when this started? Did you call the police? Did someone help you with
Yeah,
that?
the phone.
Some,
My mother is. My mom has a very, very good name in the town. She ran the Girl Scout Council, cookie sales, all that for 25 years until she
yeah.
got in trouble for theft.
Huh.
So my mom is, she's got everybody gaslighted. My mom's mentally ill. My mom's been diagnosed as bipolar and borderline personality disorder, and she won't take medication for it. And it's turned into a very, very bad malignant narcissist. She's got everybody gaslighted. When I did have my daughter in October because she refused to go home on a visit, that's when she called Children's Services and asked for help. My mom told everybody that I was holding her hostage for her Social Security for
Oh.
drugs and that I have kidnapping charges on me now.
Oh.
mm,
My family does not talk to me at all, at all.
So, I mean, I understand that because that's the thing that they do. They isolate you out. You're a bad person. I get that part.
Correct.
I just can't
My
believe.
I haven't seen my grandmother in 2 years. My grandmother was my rock through that whole surgery when I was going through that. Um,
What about changing the judge? Have you talked about
there's only one judge out here in the
one
county
judge?
it goes through.
can't change the
He
judges.
has to he has to agree to remove himself, and I've already went that
Right. Well, that's
avenue.
what I mean. If the judge literally sat there and spoke so illy of you in that courtroom,
You
I
just
mean,
don't
what about?
understand.
So wait a minute.
I've
Wait a minute. Don't you have? So hold on a second. Your child has disabilities, and so do you. Have you talked to the American Disabilities people, the ADA?
nobody No, no, yeah, nobody can do. Nobody wants to touch it. Nobody wants to do nothing. It's children's services.
Well,
Nobody wants.
yeah, well, you've called because the ADA is starting to become pretty powerful against CPS. Have you called them? Have you called the American Disabilities?
Oh, the American Disability. Yes, I have it on the phone, but that was maybe a year ago.
Well, you should call them again because they're rearing up against CPS, and where your
I'm
daughter
on the.
has
I've been on the phone every day for 7 years, you guys. I've called senators, mayors.
yeah,
Right now,
it's
I'm giving
these
the
mayors.
mayor
They don't.
pressure right
None of
now.
those people listening, 'cause they're in on it too. Those politicians all got their hands out for that money. What do you? They're not going to listen to you. Don't waste your time with that. I too. I send them
Right.
every day. I send emails to these politicians and don't hear a word back.
The best thing to do is to get the transcripts where the judge said that.
Yeah,
That did what the judge said because you can
They won't
appeal.
let me have nothing.
That
They
is
won't
that.
even.
that's what I'm saying. That's
No,
crap. Something's wrong here.
no. I'm telling you guys right now, they won't even let me have a copy of the original CPS report.
Okay, that judge has some kind of connection, and I
Yeah.
know that
Yep,
for a fact. And I don't even need to
yep.
know the name of the judge, but that judge.
He gets up. He gets a. It's not. Well, I call it a profit sharing check. I'm a factory worker child, so it's profit sharing to me. But it's a bonus check
Yeah.
for every for all the juvenile judges get it. Every time they remove or keep the kids in some type of system where the system has to pay for them, they get money for it.
Uh huh. It's crazy.
I mean, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. I'm telling you guys right now, I am not afraid of nobody. Nobody. And I
So
will
just go
walk
get
through
your kid.
whoever
You
I
have
have to
custody. Go
walk
get your
through
kid.
to get my kids back.
Right, Miss G? Couldn't she? She still has. If she still has custody or guardianship or whatever, can't she just go get them?
Nope.
No, because she still has her parental rights intact, but
Hmm.
she doesn't have full custody. The grandmother does. So the grandmother makes the decisions. So,
Oh,
but
okay.
the grandmother.
No, 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 that's not true. In the Ohio law, the guardianship that I have, I'm supposed to be able to sign documents. I'm supposed to be able to okay things. I'm supposed to be able to to be involved in doctor's appointments, sign for anything. Anything. Read the law. The Ohio law states
Okay,
that
we're talking about what's written in the court order.
the
Okay,
court order is
this is not
because of my
okay. Wait, let me time out here. You're dealing with state court. You're not dealing with the whole freaking system in Ohio. You're dealing with the state court. This is different than family court. I'm asking you, what is the court order for the state court from the state court itself? What does the court order stipulates in there?
that I am able to have any time of contact other than visitation if okayed by my mother.
Mm-hmm.
I'm allowed to have them every other weekend, off holidays, trade on holidays, so much during the weekend.
Okay.
And then I am to be involved in everything that goes on, especially with my youngest daughter.
Okay, what it says, be involved. Be involved what? School plays, be involved in sports, be
With
involved.
her, yes, yes, I'm supposed to be involved in with everything.
Right. So you're supposed to be able to be involved with your children's activities at school as well as
Correct.
outside of school. Now, again, you don't make the decisions. That's exactly what I meant. You don't have full decision making with your children. Your mother does. She's
I
just in
understand that.
she's in violation of court order. And that is a big
Correct.
deal because if you don't take her to court right away and say you waited a long time, the judge is gonna look at you and say, hey, why did you wait that long? You must have liked it. They don't care if you don't have money to hire an attorney. They don't care about any of that. If you take too
I've
long,
got I've been in contact with that court.
So I'm
I
reading.
have
I'm
to
reading right here.
call
but
Listen,
if the
I'm
case
reading right
is
here.
closed,
I'm reading right here. I'm reading right here on the Ohio Developmental Disabilities Council. It says if someone believes that a guardian is not doing a good job, he or she can bring the matter to the attention of the probate court. The court may set the
correct,
matter for hearing or it might ask an investigator to review the ward situation and
correct.
the involvement of the guardian. So why don't you do that?
Hmm.
Correct. And the Board of DD in a situation like that is also to make sure that the disabled child has a guardian ad litem. It is a state law too that when the child comes into a courtroom like that with disabilities, they are to have a guardian ad litem. He never wanted a guardian ad litem, and you want to know why? He asked me if I could pay for it. I said no, I can't pay for it, and I told him what my disability was. My mother makes more money than I do. My father's a retired Chrysler worker and a retired Marine. Okay, and my mom has all my children's money. They wouldn't make her pay for the guardian ad litem. Now I know that the state's supposed to pick it up. They wouldn't even put it through the state because it says all it does is cost the state money. He won't even let us file waivers to get it in there to court to waive the court fees. They said, "Oh, we don't do that in this court." What do you mean you don't do that in this court? It's the law. Oh, then you need to seek advice of attorney because we don't do it in this court.
Well, then you need to find an attorney to get your place moved or something. Something needs to happen because you're never going to go anywhere in there. It's something seems really off. But if that's the case and that judge is like that, then you got bigger problems here. I mean,
I've got everybody mad at me out here. I can't even go back into the county I grew up in because I have raised such a stink. I have pushed my rights, I have pushed the laws, and I've let them know I know exactly why they're doing what they're doing. I let them know it's all for money and funding, and I've also let them know I will not stop. And now so they're trying to jail me. Do you know when they went to put me in jail, they gave me a $10,000 bond, no 10%,
yeah, I know
and was
about
going to make me sit in there until the court date?
Yeah, somebody's pissed at you.
yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
because I'm not
Somebody's got
afraid. I know
yeah.
exactly what they're doing, and I tell them what they're doing, and I let them know I know what they're doing.
I'm gonna
I don't
have
care.
Grace email you that link. I send it to her in a private chat. Grace, please email it to her. It's a Oasis funding link. And but you do need to find an attorney in Ohio that is willing to send you an agreement, so that way they can see how much the attorney is willing to take on the retainer or what have you. Okay, send it.
Yeah, you guys come out here to investigate out here where I'm at in the court system. You're just going to be absolutely flabbergasted is what they're getting away with.
To be
And
honest
I
with you,
think they're,
mm,
go ahead.
to be honest with you, the system is corrupt everywhere in the United States. It's not just your state that is different, it's everywhere. So there's sex trafficking everywhere. And it is disgusting and it's sickening. And it turns, what I have noticed, it turns parents into monsters. They become completely different personalities. And
You know,
they,
I've
they're
even threatened to
sociopaths.
be
Yeah, it's crazy.
right.
It's crazy what they do to parents. Um, their brain chemistry is all out of whack because they can't sleep, they can't function. They think everybody's after them. They think everybody is out to get them. It's ridiculous. I mean, I'm talking about the females that I know. It's like they literally lost their mind.
Mhm.
And I
I'm
understand
going
because
crazy.
exactly being a mother
Yeah,
is
because it's true.
it's crazy.
I am so angry, you guys. You just don't understand. I feel like I'm a wild bear, female bear that got her cubs taken away, and I'm going crazy because I can't find them.
Yeah.
I am to the point to where I want to go up in that house and I want to take matters into my own hand. That's what I want. And I can't do it because it's not going to do me any good to be sitting in prison when I'm trying to keep my kids safe.
Yeah.
Exactly. But you know what? I need you to read a comment real quick, or just listen to this comment from Together We Break Production. She said, "Ma'am, I don't know your name, but you have to stop letting your left hand know what your right hand is doing. The reason why they are fighting you is because you're giving them what they need. You're giving them ammunition."
Because I tell them that I know what they're doing and I'm not afraid. I already told them I'm not going to stop until they're all fired. I'm coming after every single one of them.
But why would
I
you
told
let
them
them?
they better hope. I told them they better hope I never get a bunch of money in my hand because if I do, I'm coming for every single one of them.
But
Every
you're letting
single
them
one of them.
but you're letting them know what you're planning on doing. That's not wise.
But what can we do as mothers? You just don't understand. It drives us crazy. It doesn't go away. Everybody thinks that we should live our lives every day like everybody else should. This doesn't go away.
Right.
This is a child that we grew in us, a human being. We grew in us. And
Agreed.
you're going to take our kids away and say we're bad parents and then put them in a worse situation than you think they're in? What kind of justice is that?
It
There
isn't.
There's no protocol. Ohio State law says that there's a protocol that they have to do. They never do it before they remove the children out of the custody of these parents. They're, that's not being followed. They never investigated my mother. If they would have investigated my mother, they would have never gave the kids to her because every single one of us girls left home because of her.
Wow.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm going to end up like that guy in Toledo, Ohio that's sitting in prison and have his kids hid. Because I'm to that point. All of us mothers are to that point. We would rather get our kids safe and sit in prison as long as they are safe. The
Yeah.
boys are still alive in Toledo, Ohio. You know they are. He's not going to let anybody hurt his kids.
Mhm.
And I don't blame him. I would do the same thing. And every mother and every parent would.
Wow.
I don't get it. This is America. We're not supposed to be. This is Hitler crap.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah. You
I'm a
ask.
military child. I'm a military child. I was born, love God, your flag, and your Constitution.
Oh yeah.
And
What's that?
stand for what is right. And you stand until somebody hears you. And if you know you're right, you don't back down. And I've got children that are in a very, very dangerous situation that I need out of. And it is my job as a mother that I will do whatever it takes to get my children safe.
Yeah.
The Truth Movement wrote something very interesting. I've been reading his or her comments, but he said, well, he or she. Um, I want to read from the beginning. Actually, hold on. So he said at the hearing, the child's parents have the right to challenge the state's exercise of power and the state's evidence. One type of evidence concerns us today: hearsay. Hearsay is an out of court. And then he goes on saying, improper and or illegal acts by a public official which violate his or her duty to follow the law and act on behalf of the public good. And then
Yep.
he said, the state has the sovereign emergency power to take a child away from their parents for the child's own protection. Statutes and constitution constrain that power. And
Yeah.
then he said, among those constraints is the state's obligation to properly prove to a judge a shelter care hearing conducted under the rules of evidence that its exercise of power was justified. And then
I
he
wish
goes,
I
at that hearing, the child's parents have the right to challenge the state exercise of power and state's evidence. One type of evidence concerns us today, hearsay. I think I read this again. Am I going? Am I rereading everything? Or did he just send it several times? Yeah, I think offered to prove. Okay, here it said one type of evidence concerns us today is hearsay. Hearsay is an out of court statement offered to prove the truth of the thing said. Hearsay is basically he's saying hearsay is difficult to challenge. So
that's all it was.
right, but the thing about it is, judges are in on it. Judges are in on
Hmm.
it. So
Yeah.
basically, a judge is not going to say to a social worker, that's hearsay, ma'am, give me some evidence, right? So the
Right.
judge just automatically believes them. But if you go to family court, like in my family court, my ex couldn't say hearsay. He couldn't even say, Your Honor, well, this and that. It's hearsay, right? You can't. Where's evidence? Show me evidence. That's exactly what
There
a
was
family
no
court,
evidence.
right. But that's what a family court judge would say. But in juvenile cases, in dependency cases, the judges do not tell the social worker, show me evidence. The judges literally tell the social worker, hey, I believe you. Based on what the
Yep.
worker said, I'm going to rule. So what they do is they rule on what the worker is telling them without any evidence, providing any evidence whatsoever. And then the court appointed attorneys refuse to submit the evidence because they're reluctant to for the judge. Why? Because the judge is going to go against them. And if the judge is going to go against them, they're not going to be able to excel in their career, right? Because it's like a
Right.
cult group, a group like a cult. All judges know each other. We're talking about traffic court judge goes to the same assembly as the juvenile dependency judge. We're talking about family law judges go to the same dinner setting as the dependency court judges. So they're all together. They talk. I know that for a fact.
I know
For
that too because when I moved out here to the different county, I went up to the juvenile center and I went up to the courthouse and everything. And I
mhm.
found out all the attorneys and all the judges are connected and they will not help you do nothing.
They are all connected. And believe me, I seen evidence. I have seen it with my own eyes. I have seen pictures. I have seen text messages. I have seen it all. They're all connected. That's why if an attorney says my daddy is a judge, I'm like, oh, okay, well, my daddy is a judge in this state or in this county. I'm like, oh yeah, okay. Yeah, there's something wrong with this. Why? Because they know, they talk. They all talk. They
Hmm.
all communicate. They all communicate. They're all in cahoots with each other.
Yep.
Counties, anything pertaining to government jobs, they go
Yep.
into protect their own. They're a demonic entity that is not breakable. How can you break demons? You can't, right?
Mm-mm.
I mean, you know what I mean. You can't break their shelter, their safety haven, right? I
Hmm.
know God is big and almighty, but I'm talking about demons are not going to go against themselves. That's what I'm trying to say. They're not going to break themselves. They're not going to go against each other because they want to be
Correct.
strong. They want to stand together. So they
Hmm.
fly together. They flock together. Get it? So nobody can touch them earthly wise because they're protecting each other. So if you go file a complaint with the state bar against a juvenile dependency judge,
I already did.
they will be, oh my god, they'll come at you as hyenas. Don't ever think don't ever think that that state judge is going to be scared of a complaint. Now if you have the right attorney, that attorney can file, right, something against that judge that shows retaliation against his client. I
Hmm.
mean, there's you can set them up in the right way if you have the right attorney.
I
I mean,
understand that.
yeah.
And I thought about that. And I know I got to do that. But you have to understand for us to fight this system, we've got to have some money.
Well, I put a bunch of links up here for you too in the chat here for the private chat. There's a bunch of links that I've found that are places that will help you out or
Yeah.
information for you to look into for Ohio, specifically Ohio
Yeah.
and the guardianship
Well,
programs.
have you guys looked into the statistics too that this is mostly done to poverty stricken and disabled and
Of course.
single mothers?
Yeah, and 17% of families will reunify out of it. We both know that this is against you 100%. Like
Wait
your
a minute.
chances.
Darren, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I heard from James one time that for disabled people, I guess there's some kind of disability. If I don't know if it's certain disability or not, but where some attorneys have to take your case in Ohio. No,
Yeah, they
a
have
lot.
to. They have to, right? They have to,
Yeah,
but they don't.
huh?
But they don't. I've been
Um,
all through the laws. I'm telling you, they don't have to do nothing.
I don't know. That's what I heard from James. I'm gonna touch base with him later on tonight. But that's what I thought I understood from him.
If somebody was to go through and investigate the county that I'm talking about with the three cities that are involved, you guys are not going to believe the corrupt activity. It is just
How could you
absolutely.
tell us
You're,
that we
you're
can't believe it? I believe anything. What are you talking about? There is no such thing I
uh,
can't believe. I believe
I
anything.
mean, we have three Freemason lodges. Well, two, no, three, because the uh, the lodges that they have are Freemason. They have one major Freemason, main building. All the lawyers are Freemason. All the judges are Freemason. A lot of people. You're talking small farming democratic communities where I'm at. It's off farm out here.
So there's the Pro Bono Partnership of Ohio, provides legal services to nonprofit clients, clients with disabilities. That help. So that's one right there. Pro Bono Partnership of Ohio. There's also the Disability Rights Ohio, is a nonprofit organization that advocates for people with disabilities in Ohio. Um, there's the
Already called.
Opportunities for Ohioans with Disabilities.
Yep,
That
called.
helps with disabilities with employment, lawyers, independents with their
Yep.
independence. There's those three.
They
And you
refer
call
you to
those.
ABLE.
All right.
They refer you to ABLE, and then you call ABLE, and then they're not. It's legal aid. So
Yeah, anything like that, and out of state, anywhere in the states, Darren, they don't help. Anything
no,
pertaining to legal aid, they do not help at all.
Well,
no.
James said that they had something for disabilities, so I was just validating it.
I We need to set up a fund. Is what we need to do for all of us parents that are going through this. Something to where we can find out where we can raise money and the money be there for when there's situations like this and you're going into court and you don't have a lawyer or you can't afford a lawyer or you are disabled, you've got that power, that you got that attorney right there. We've got to recruit these attorneys in each state. I think we can do it. I really do because now this is all getting known. It's happening to more and more families. I think we can do it. I really do, you guys. I think
Mhm.
if we really put our minds to it, we can, because, especially these attorneys that are young and coming up and want to make a name for
But
themselves.
that's who you get when the
Because,
courts give you a court-appointed attorney. Mr. Davis says it all the time. Those poor guys don't stand a chance because automatically you say court-appointed attorney, and they're terrible. But most of these
oh,
guys
now,
are just that. They're young, they're coming up, they got to do their time. And Mr. Davis says this all the time. Everybody expects Johnny Cochran. Well, you got to pay for Johnny Cochran.
right.
Like Davis says all the time, it sucks. But that's the way that the world works, and that's the way good lawyers
That's the
get
way,
paid,
yep.
and that's the way that they get the pull and the clout because we know it's a corrupt system. But you know what? Everybody's got to. I can't imagine these court appointed attorneys going to work every day saying, boy, everybody looks at me like I'm a piece of crap and that I'm
Mm-hmm.
not worth it. So I'm not even going to fight for these people because I'm just going to do the bare minimum so I can get out of here because that's what everybody assumes,
Yeah,
you know?
that court appointed attorney that I had, when I was telling him what was going on and what I knew, he goes, no, he goes, I agree with you. He says, there's no law. There's no law for you guys anymore.
Right. But he wasn't going to fight for you. He doesn't want to get engaged,
And he
right?
wasn't going to fight for me. Nope. He wanted me to take another charge in that county that I didn't deserve and that I don't do. And I'm
Yeah.
not doing it. I
Look at
have
how many of
had it
those,
with this county.
right. How many of those court appointed attorneys do a file to dismiss the motion immediately besides none? You know,
Right.
obviously they're into it for the money. That's clear. But I'm just saying it's a bad shake because I'm sure they're not all that way, and I'm sure that there are a lot of court-appointed attorneys that are out there that will be willing to fight for you. And you've.
Well, you show me one in Ohio.
Oh, I was just looking for some. I don't know very many. I'm from Maine, not
I
Ohio.
there's this one I found in Toledo. And it was like a year and a half ago. And I lost his number and everything because he told me if I ever got the money, because I told him about the judge out there. He goes, I don't care. He's going to follow the law. That's what he told me. So I was like, okay. And I, because of all the paperwork I have, and I do not have a very good filing system of myself for things, I cannot find this attorney's number.
You know what? There's an ex-football player. I think his state is Wisconsin's, if I'm not mistaken, but I can find out more about him. But anyways, I saw several videos of him. They also went after his children, and then he started helping. He got his kids back, of course, but he had to fight, and he started helping families. But what he does, he has a foundation. But the thing about him is that he will have to listen to the case, and if he believes you and he looks at evidence and all that, he'll help you. But if you're lying to him, he's not going to take your case. So he doesn't take on any case,
Right.
which understandable. I agree with him 100%. But
I do too.
so
See, that's one thing with me. If I was a prostitute or a drug addict, or I
mhm.
had men coming in and out of my house, or smoking pot and having people come and partying and puffing it up, then I would own it. If I wasn't feeding my kids or bathing them, or I would own the fact. Okay, I've never even had a children's services case. I'd come out of the hospital from fighting. The only thing that kept me alive in that hospital when I was in that coma was my girls, especially my youngest one. And I'm going to tell you something right now, you guys. I didn't see no white light when I was in that coma. I fought the devil.
Mm.
I fought the devil. And when I come out of that coma, I got right real quick. I did not deserve this at all. I did not. This is ridiculous. I
None.
was doing everything right. When I was with my first husband, I was trying to have children. I was going through shots and hormone therapy and running to the doctor's office. And that's when I found out I couldn't have children. And then I have children after I lose 267 pounds and I get with their dad. I have these babies. Do you actually think I'm going to abuse them? Are you serious?
Look, the court system inflicts pains on parents. They inflict pain on them. They want the parent to take out a gun and do something crazy, and that's how
That's
it
what
is.
they push us to do. That's how
That's,
crazy I am.
yeah, they're scared of us more than we think, but they're keeping us silenced with fear. And when you're fearful, when you're afraid, that's when you're going to lose the battle and the war. You're going to lose both. You know, you're going to lose both because fear is not going to help us. The problem is when you open your mouth, and I'm talking about each one of us, when we open our mouth and we let them know what our thoughts are, and let them know what we're going to do to them if we have this and we have that, they're going to make sure that anything that
Yep.
you can gain help from is stopped. That's what Together We Break production meant to tell you. Do
Yep.
not let them know. I don't care how angry you are. Even Jesus told us that in the Bible. Don't let your right
Yeah, I
hand know
know.
what your left hand is doing. God already warned us because God already knows the future. God already knows the demons around earth that's roaming around earth. God knows we're not fighting against flesh and blood. We're not fighting against them. We're fighting against the demons that's in them. So if you see Joe Smith and he's possessed by thousands or the 100,000 demons in him, right? You're not fighting Joe
Right.
Smith. You're fighting the demons in him. Because Joe Smith was not born as a demon, right? He
Correct.
was born as a
Yeah.
good guy. He was so cute and sweet and lovable. But then again, if you don't have God in your heart, those demons are going to attack you. So, in order for you to fight them productively, effectively, is don't let them know what you're up to. No matter how angry you are, no matter how frustrated you are, don't let them know what you're up
Y-
to.
And you know what, guys? It's hard for me to hold back because I'm a fighter. I got bullied a lot when I was growing up and picked around and pushed around, and I had to fight. So and I'm getting older, and I notice I'm not so much like it, but I just, it takes so much. So I just want to reach up and slap some of these people in the mouth so bad. you know, and then when they look at you, slap them again and keep slapping them until they get it in their head what they have done to us, you know? It takes so much for me to hold back. They just better be glad I'm in a wheelchair.
Okay, that's a
They better
threat.
be
See what I'm telling
well.
you? Things, everything you say
But
will
that's
be
but
true.
that's not, it's not just it's not a threat. It's not a threat. It's what they push us to.
But when you say it, when it comes out of your own mouth, to them it's a threat.
It's not meant as a threat. It's meant as an emotion because of the fact that that is how we get pushed. I'm trying to express how we get pushed
Right.
into feeling this way because of us, you know, and a lot of us are fighters and some of us are not, you know, and I'm a fighter and it takes all I can do just to hold back you guys. I love my children so much. You guys just don't know. You
I
just don't
We don't know.
know.
We know. Are you kidding me right now? Every mother and father who are victims of CPS are dead inside right now. They're dead. They're walking zombies. I don't even know how they function. So what I'm trying to
My yeah, that's what
yeah, it's
I haven't left my. We live in a camper.
Mhm.
We live in a camper. I haven't left my camper bedroom all year. I have no reason to. I don't have no reason to.
Yeah, it sucks. It really
I
does.
I tried, Wendy, in your state to find attorneys, and one of them, like I said, was very rude. And I wish I could report this guy. He was so cocky and arrogant. And I said, "Is there any way you can join us with the seminar and help people, fight CPS and bring awareness and blah blah blah?" He said, "I don't need your marketing, blah blah blah. You don't need that kind of publicity. And besides, I don't want to help those people. They can't help themselves." And he sounded um like a true, just like he was so mean. I actually wrote word for word what he said in my notes,
That's
like word
that's how that judge is. That's how that judge is. He yells at his employees.
right. That's why I want to know the name of that judge, because I don't know if I called a judge. I don't know if I called an attorney, because a lot of them, a lot of judges were attorneys at one point, right? So maybe
This is the same judge that emancipated me at 16 years old. You guys,
oh my God.
the same judge.
Yeah, if you can just, I don't know if you can see the private chat. If you can just, I don't know if you can just write down the name of the judge for me, just
Yeah, I
just
see it.
identity. I want to know the name of that judge, because that guy was really mean, and he sounded old. He sounded like he had this old voice,
Uh
and
huh.
you can totally tell he stinks. Like he doesn't shower. Like I can tell. Like he's just one of those trashy talk kind of guy.
This one is 4 foot tall and about 300 pounds, and he has a little man complex.
Well, maybe that's the size of Miss G's thought, because that sounds like it.
Yep, I think that's him. I have. That's why I said, please send me the name. I want to make sure that I'm telling you, that guy was a jerk, and he's like, they can't help themselves. I make $500 an hour, like that. Like I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm just trying to find people to help other people in your state. You know?
He's got long hair, and his beard is white.
No, I don't know about his hair. I can only go by his demeanor and his voice. That's what he sounds like.
Oh yeah, this one, yeah, he thinks that he is above the law. He doesn't follow the law when you're in there. He makes up his own law. And when you catch him on it, like I did, because I'm not going to keep my mouth shut, he threatens to put me in jail.
I swear on the Holy Bible, I believe in my heart that all attorneys and all judges are narcissistic. And I believe
Yes,
that with all my heart, because they make you look like you're the crazy one after they push you to the max. And
yeah,
then you react, and then they say you're crazy. And then they
yeah,
end
that's
up,
what they're trying to do.
to
That's
me,
where I'm at.
yeah. So basically, I believe that is the God honest truth. with every judge and every um, attorney out there. I'm being honest, and district
Yeah.
attorney, because they take on these roles because they want to be in control. They want to get you. They want to feel power. If you put on a black rope and you have a what do you call those things? Hammers or whatever they call them.
Gavel.
Yeah,
Gavel.
like I'm in power. That's
Yep.
how we feel. If you're a police officer and you have a badge, I'm in power. Ooh, look at me walk down, with my head held up high. So basically, kind of like they want to fear people. They want people to bow down to them,
Well,
and
see,
that's
that's the problem I had with him. I don't fear him. He don't scare me. I'm not scared of him.
wait, wait,
And I
wait.
let him know that.
That name in the private chat. Who put that name in there?
Oh, that's the ones from the disability thing. That's the email address for
Oh,
the
oh,
Ohio
okay. And then
for
the
the
phone
Ohio
number is from
disability
the
rights.
disability thing as well. Okay, yeah, I
Yeah,
thought
you guys, I'm
I
not trying to act all big and bad, but I'm not afraid of too much, and I'm not afraid of him either.
you shouldn't
I'm
be.
not.
You shouldn't be,
The
but you
only
should.
one I fear, the only one I fear is the Lord. That's the only man that I fear.
Then if you fear the Lord, why don't you do what the Lord tells you to do? Don't let your
I
right hand
try to. I'm
stand in your own.
stubborn as they come. I'm a
Then you don't
Southern
fear the
woman.
Lord. Then
Uh,
you don't fear
I
the
am.
Lord.
I'm
Stop.
impatient. That's my problem. I'm
Well,
impatient.
you are Moses. There you go. So Moses was also impatient with God towards the end. So what I'm
Yep,
trying to tell you, baby girl, that didn't get him anywhere,
I
right?
know.
So
And I
I want
talk to him and
you to
tell him
see that.
about it all the time.
I know. So just learn to keep your mouth shut. When you're planning on doing something, you do it. You don't let your enemy
Okay.
know what you're up to do, what you're up to. And they
Okay.
are your enemy. They're all of our enemies, actually. Every parent in the United States, that's their enemy. Children, Department of Children and Family Services, that's their enemy.
Yep.
Judges,
I'm
our enemy. Court appointed
right.
attorneys are enemy. District attorneys are
Mm-mm.
all our enemies. You have to understand 90% of district attorneys in there, their mommy and daddy are judges. You guys don't know that. You guys are not aware of that.
I am.
Doctors have mommy and daddies who are judges for DCFS.
And
And see,
SWAT, and we've got a whole brotherhood of lawyers that have been judges and lawyers in the town since the 1920s. I can give you who they are. They're a whole family. They were all males, and they have a little office that sits right by the railroad tracks in my town. And they've
yeah,
been the judges and the lawyers. And the reason why my Supreme, when I put it into the Columbus Supreme Court, when I did that, the reason why it got denied is because we have one of them lawyers on the Ohio Council.
hmm,
So, yep, it's all connected. Supreme, right up to the Supreme Court, your local Supreme Court. And then they put these ombudsmen for children's services in. And you know how they got, because they got in Columbus, went through them, filed grievances and everything. They're all in on it too. The girls up front care, you know, but it's the other ones when you put the grievances in that make the decision. They're all in on it too. They all get a cut. In your local town where your children's services are, your county commissioner's office, there's a man that oversees children's services or a woman that oversees children's services. They know what's going on and they're in on it.
Wow.
I've got it all trickled. I told you I've been doing this for 7 years. I'm on Social Security. I ain't got nothing but time. I lost you.
oh, sorry, here I am. I just
I
shared.
got you.
I shared the link with you guys. It's a beautiful song that I like to listen to.
Am I doing this wrong? I mean, do you guys understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I understand exactly what's going on. We all do. We know the corruption, but Wendy, you need to tame your mouth a little bit because you're letting them know what's up. And if they come across this video, they will come after you. And actually, together we break production said the same thing. They will come after you. Whatever you say, it will be held against you. We have people that didn't, they were using different names, and this CPS still follows them on their own platform, even.
I'm
Darren was one
well.
of them. He went to court one day. I guess they showed a video or something, or they told the judge
I'm
about
not.
something he said.
I'm not doing anything wrong.
But it's the
What
words
am?
that
Why should I be afraid? That's
it's
the
not about fear.
problem.
It's
I
not
don't
about
care.
fear.
I know who's out there. I know exactly what you're talking about. I know who you're talking about. I don't care. These are my kids. These are my children.
Yes, I understand that. I understand they're your
No,
kids. So you need to do it strategically. You have to think
no.
about it.
I'm sorry. Let them come get me, do what they got to do because I'm not afraid because it's got to get out there and people got to know what's going on. People need to know how it goes, where it's going, who's all involved. And if we keep being scared and we keep our mouths shut, then we're not going to get anything done. And all we're going to do is keep having these podcasts and keep having these groups on Facebook. And all we're doing is crying and complaining.
All right. I don't think you
I'm
understand.
sorry.
You don't have to be sorry. I'm about to tell you something right now. I don't think you understand where I'm coming from when I'm telling you this. That doesn't mean you don't have a
No,
voice.
hold
That
on.
means
My,
you have it.
my service dog is barking. Hold on. It's Todd.
Mhm.
Sorry.
Yeah. So, anyways, that doesn't mean I'm telling you not to have a voice. I'm telling you not to let your enemy know what your steps are. That's all I'm saying. That doesn't mean I'm telling you to
Oh, okay.
doesn't mean
Okay,
I'm
I
telling
gotta
you to
understand.
stop. I'm not telling none of us. That's what I've been saying all along. But because you're so angry, you're not willing to listen to what I'm saying. So
I
all I'm
am angry.
yes, I
I'm.
understand that anger blinds you from hearing. So stop being angry. Instead of you being angry, get your enemy without your enemy knowing you're going after them, or
No,
without your
I'm not saying I'm going after him. I'm just letting you know how far it went up. What my experience, what happened to me.
right.
Don't I have a constitutional right to voice have have my own say to let everybody know what's going on? Isn't that my American right?
You have the American right, of course, to speak your mind, but again, when you're dealing with a corrupt system, you have to be careful not letting them know what's coming out of your mouth. Okay?
I understand I don't know this coming out of the mouth, but did you ever maybe think that fear is the reason why this country is in the situation it's in? And
Right.
fear has to stop being the major thing and really get into these politicians and these corrupt systems and start running this the way it needs to be ran. We, the people, I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. I'm with you. We are the people and we have to stand together. And let's get the whole country of the United States to come out of their, open their door
Exactly.
and come out the door and rally all together, every state together at one time.
And and
That
why don't they do it? And why don't they do it? Because of
they don't want
fear.
to exactly. They don't want to do it. So
You got to get people like me and like you guys to quit. You got to quit being scared. You got to walk through the fire.
you can't make people do anything though. I mean, I've been trying for the last 3 years. Nobody wants to do it. I got a group of people to protest with me. They didn't want to do
Right.
it. They backed off at the
So we
last.
need to
They're scared,
so
so
we
they give
so
up.
we need to quit being scared and we need to start voicing our opinion and
Right,
start walking over these people.
right.
Because otherwise, like I just told you guys, we're just going to keep having these podcasts. We're just going to keep having these groups, and we're just going to keep uh, complaining and screaming and hollering about it. And nothing's getting done. No, I'm not doing that no more. I'm not doing that anymore. I have been on the phone for 7 years. I can tell when my child is being abused over there. I am not shutting up anymore. I will do whatever it takes. I'm not afraid of the
Okay,
government. I'm not afraid of the
okay.
people who are behind it. I'm not afraid.
All right, Wendy, I'm gonna have to. The show producer just texted me. I have to end the show. It's 8:10 right now. It's after hours for her. She has to go home. So I love your passion. I love you to death. I'm gonna pray for you, and I pray for everyone to really stand together as unity and to
Oh,
go.
you guys will see more of me. I'm not done.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it, Wendy. Okay, and I want to see your dog next time. Okay, your service dog.
Oh, you're tired. Real quick. Come here.
I love animals. Oh my god,
Mm.
he's so cute, but he looks like. Oh my god, he's so adorable.
His name is Todd. Todd
He's
from the
so
Fox and the Hound.
yes, he's
Mhm.
adorable. He
Thank
is so.
you. Got me out of
Okay,
some dark places, let me tell you.
Darren, is there any advice or anything you want to say to her before we end the show? Because Grace is waiting.
Yeah, no, I don't want to hold Grace up, but write those things down in that side chat. Call those
I
people,
will.
try again. Keep beating them
And
down.
I hope I did okay. I'm just so angry and I'm so fed up. I just want everybody, I want this to stop. I want it
Yeah,
to stop. It's unnecessary. Quit using our children as your pawn.
yep.
Oh, they're gonna have a thing coming to them. A lot of them are being eliminated, one by
You
one.
guys need
Not that,
any
yeah,
help.
no, there a lot of them are losing their
Well,
jobs.
you
A
should do
lot of
that.
them,
You should be one of the captains in our Ohio crew.
yeah.
Grace, put this lady down. You
But
would help us out with that for sure. I'm
why
sure.
don't you? Why don't you do something in your state? Why don't you help us collect as many people as possible,
Yep.
gather as many people as
She
possible,
can be a
rather?
captain in Ohio. I don't
Yeah.
know if we have one or not, but
You know what? I think
For families that this has happened to,
Davis has one in Ohio already, but she can be one too.
yeah.
I
So we're
mean,
putting together what Mr. Davis is trying to do is put enough. All of us are getting together. So what you'll do is you'll come up with who's this next election coming up, who will be voting. We're trying to vote for the people to get the people to change the system. So it'll be your job to collect the people and to tell them who they need to vote for so that we can make the difference. So
yeah, send me all that information and help me do it and get me pointed in the right way. Oh yes,
Grace,
I will do anything.
Grace is gonna send it to you.
so
Yes,
well
yes, and thank you for having me on your podcast. And if you guys ever need anything, you let me know.
I'm gonna need you. I'm gonna need you to be my soldier here in LA. No, but I love your spirit. But be careful, okay? Just be careful and
All
pray.
right. All right. God bless you guys. Thank you
I
very
God
love you
bless.
much.
too. Thank you so
Bye
much.
bye.
Bye bye. Oh dear God.